Let me bang. I do let you bang. Hey, let me bang you, baby. I let you bang. I let you bang. Greetings, marrieds and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No for gay Jesus, people.
And I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
What's up, people? We got a brand new MMA Roasted Podcast. We got the legend Don Frye, who somehow gets handsomer every week. A couple years ago, I was.
You got it, baby.
A couple years ago when you were laying down and you couldn't move and you were drinking.
You mean 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
But now you're looking good, man. You're looking healthy. You're looking fresh. I'm happy for you, man. And of course,
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Of course, Greg Romero is here. No problem, man. No problem. I had a show last week. It was one of those things where the guy was like, hey, it was one of my good friends I met who I love to death. He's like, hey, man, you want to headline the show? Because, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, sure. Like, they had a huge headliner, but he, dropped out, so it was, a big deal. So then he was like, I booked a couple comics before you. He booked, 7 comics before me. So it went from, I think he, kind of panicked, and he, booked all these people, I do the same thing. And then, they all say yes. It's a great gig, and next thing you know, and it was like, hey man, we have to close up pretty soon, so I know I told you 45, but we do a tight 15. I was like, bro, I was like, whatever. I'm like, whatever you want, man. I got, dude. The one time I went to West Virginia, they told me I was headlining, and it was this booker that was notorious for doing this kind of shit. So I get there, and they were like, oh, by the way, Mike Epps is here this week. I'm like, but they told me that I was headlining. They're like, yeah, Mike Epps is headlining. Don't worry, we'll pay you the same, but you'll feature. I'm like, great. I never actually worked with Mike Epps before. Then they were like, Mike Epps brought his own feature. So you're going to be doing guest sets at 7 minutes, but we're still going to pay you headlining money, right? Dude, Mike Epps, I've never seen a crowd. It was in West Virginia. It was the middle of summer. There were more mink coats and fur coats than I've ever seen in my life. And people were just coming into the green room. Mike Epps was so funny because people were like, yo, Mike, this one dude was like, Mike Epps, I hear you're a rapper, man. He's like, oh, can you do a verse on my album? And the guy starts rapping to him, right? And Mike Epps just stares at him. And then it's just an awkward pause. And the guy just leaves. And Mike Epps is like, man, sometimes you guys gotta pretend you don't speak English. It's I'm like, that's a good way to deal with things. Sean McCorkle, how are you?
Doing all right, man. How you doing?
Good. How was your weekend? What did you do?
Not a lot, man. Sat around whining about my back, but I did watch
the tractor.
What?
You really,
I couldn't hear what he said. I couldn't hear what Don said.
You look like you got trapped underneath your tractor.
Something about
it's either can or diesel oil,
Yeah, no kidding. That kind of, usually you got to be a pro golfer to have that kind of tan. Am I that dark? I didn't realize.
Yeah, you look good, man. You look good. And Greg,
yeah, Don wants to kick you out of the country.
Yeah, got a little too dark for Don.
Yeah.
You better not be rolling
around. You're a white
down
privilege boy no more.
I actually wrote a joke about how people are mad at Biden for letting in all these illegal immigrants. I'm like, but yeah, the guy's old. He's lonely. I mean, he needs company. Old people get lonely. So, Greg, how are you, man? What's going on with you?
Joke?
I thought it was kind of
everything's hunky dory. It was nice. I was in town this weekend, which was nice. It's been a while, and played the Ha Ha Cafe for 2 shows. Did my poker group on Friday night, which was a lot of fun. So I mean, it's been really nice. It's been nice to actually have a little time back in the house here.
And Don, how was your weekend? What'd you do?
cleaned up around the house here, worked on it. Got the yard clean, then it rained. Then I cleaned it again, and it rained, Now it rained once, and next day the weeds were 4 foot tall,
Damn, dude.
And
I got a good rain story if you guys want to hear it. It's really awesome if we're on.
Oh God, here it
Let's hear it.
So, I have very expensive dogs, right? So I'm out today about 6 in the morning. I woke up, I couldn't sleep, so I'm walking my dogs around my giant farm. And when you've got pit bulls, you got to kind of be hard on them sometimes, especially males, because they're real hard-headed. And when a dog can kill someone in 10 seconds, you want to make sure it obeys you at all times, So I don't have it on a leash. I just let him walk around, and all of a sudden he gets interested in a rabbit or something, starts going out toward the road. And usually when I scream at him, he'll come back eventually, but I don't I do with my kids. I only say it once, then you get swatted. I didn't give my kids a countdown. I did anything. So that's how I do my dogs. If I tell them to come and they don't, they get spanked for not coming. So, so he's out there. He's interested in something. I'm like, I can't be that mad about his instinct. So I'm like, hey, get over here right now. And as God is my witness, as I yelled right now, lightning and thunder came from the sky. It wasn't even raining. It was just like, and as I said now, it's like the most. And he looked up at me like, what the, like he thought I was a wizard or something, right? So he's kind of looking at me. He's like a little bit scared. I was like, get over here now. And I swear to God, lightning must have hit 100 yards from me. Because when I said it again, it hit. And, man, he stayed by me the rest of the day, walking right wherever I was. So my dog thinks I'm God now. Nice. So it worked out great, though.
I got to tell you, the biggest disappointment for me of the last week was, okay, I've been trying to goad you into doing the shop joke so we could cross the 100 shop joke milestone. Then I'm gone for one podcast, and you do like 9 fucking shop jokes and carry us over the fucking finish line, and I'm not even here. I'm like, what an asshole.
It was really built up. Man, it was crazy. It's although I was using too many Buffer and Dominic Cruz jokes, I have some of those this week also, so we'll see.
So yeah, you got sidetracked on Buffer, which no one wanted to be on Buffer. and then I'm like, I'm hoping this week. I'm like, just stay on Buffer this week.
No,
wait till
nobody wants to be on Buffer. No.
Well, Dominic Cruz probably does, but
yeah.
So So it was my daughter's birthday, her 3rd birthday party, and also my wife's birthday. They're like born a day apart, which my wife kind of gets screwed in that situation because. Especially when like a little kid, everyone's like about the kid, She
got pregnant early then, huh?
Yeah.
You said they're a day apart.
She got pregnant at 2, early a year apart.
Did your wife throw a tantrum? Says, my birthday too.
Dude, kind of. Like the other, like I couldn't find the leash. Couldn't find the leash today to our dog, and I'm like, listen, I can't find the leash. I know we let him out in the backyard, but I gotta walk him. That's our way of bonding. And my wife's like, what do you do to bond with me? I was like, I'll take you for a walk if you want.
You'll get her a leash.
Exactly. I'll give you some leash. Get her a whole pulley system.
So we had
a collar, a face mask.
So we had a face mask, Jesus. So we had to have like my wife
wanted a hood, like the gimp,
I got the reference. I got
you know what I'm talking about. You know. Yeah, okay.
So she wanted to have alpacas, right, for the birthday party. I tell you about this? She wanted to rent.
No, but
she wanted to rent 2 baby alpacas to come for the kids' party. They were $1,800, right, for an hour. I'm like, we don't need we'll put hay on the dog. Yeah, like we have 3 cats. We have 3 bunnies. We have a dog. We don't need alpacas, right? This was like
I'd have rented you a $20,000 dog for that.
Thank you.
He'll do anything too because it thinks he's God.
Anyway, let's talk about the fights that went on, and we'll go back to some more crazy stories. What did you guys think of the Black Beast versus Ghani? Look, I called this. I said the Black Beast.
That is stunk.
The Black Beast is kind of he's stunk.
They should give everybody their money back.
Why?
Yeah. Well, obviously, he must be lazy because if you can't, get out the first round without being exhausted, you're not training properly, you know. So either he needs to be fired, or his camp needs to be fired, you know, his trainer, because somebody's not doing the job, or none of them are doing the job, you know.
Well, I think it's one of those things where it's been working for him. So why, you know, it's hard to tell a guy he needs to do something else when it's been working. And, you know, I've been on the
You're fighting for a title or a supposed title, you know, a fucking title. You've got to fucking up your game.
It just seems like the guy's kind of a bully, where if he's winning, he comes back, or he's a guy that just waits for one shot. And in the history of fighting, when has that ever worked? To lose every round almost, but just to land that one big shot. I mean, it'll happen once in a while, but against a higher level of competition, it seems like this is kind of a theme. He doesn't really show up to a big fight. And that's what I said was going to happen. And Mayhem was like, fucking gave me a 30-minute lecture on how that wasn't going to happen. I was like, I don't know. It seemed like he was almost looking for a way out.
Did you pay money?
Because he kept saying he got
eyeballs.
No, I didn't make any money. I should have bet. But it seems like also it seemed like he was poking the other guy in the eye, Agani in the eye, and then he was claiming he got eye poked when he was the one doing the poking. McCorkle, what did you think?
Right.
I think the pressure of the moment seemed to get to be too much for him, man. Like, it was kind of like he was just looking for a way out, which is unlike Derek Lewis. He's not normally like that, but fighting in his hometown for a state title, but a title that would change his life nevertheless. I was surprised. Like, I was sitting there thinking, man, I'm just like sitting here with my mouth wide open, and I was thinking, so are Dominic Cruz and Bruce Buffer, but of course that may have been the two black men wrestling around each other that made them open their mouths real wide. But yeah, no, I was shocked that he didn't. If you're gonna, you might as well try. You know, even if you think you're outmatched, I mean, go out and fight, man. Like try, like go out and swing a couple, but throwing one or two punches around ain't gonna do it, man. Like it ever. Like Don said, like you have to go out and do it. Like it couldn't look worse than it did already. Like it couldn't have gone worse. So if you'd at least tried, if you get knocked out, you get knocked out. You know. So.
I mean, Don, was there ever a fight where you came in as bad a shape as Derek Lewis?
No. Even in my worst scenario, when, you know, the pills and the alcohol, I still did, you know, some training, and I could pass the 5-minute mark.
What about you, Sean?
I never came in super out of shape usually, but I did get tired real fast. It didn't matter what kind of shape I was in. So I would get, but I would still fight. Like if I only go 3 minutes, you're going to get 3 minutes of me fighting. You know what I mean? It's not going to be me circling looking at it.
Hey, look, I tried the pills and alcohol. It was the training I forgot to do. But let me tell you, this fight pissed me off. It was the only one that I got wrong, that I got wrong in the main card, because Derek Lewis, this whole technique versus power thing, I thought it was going to catch up to him his last 3 fights, and he proved me wrong every time. So I thought, okay, you know what? This time, Derek Lewis, this guy, every time he finds a way to land the one big one, and then it's over. And what you said was very accurate in terms of sometimes they think they're setting them up for success by putting them at home and putting from the home crowd and, you know, and really they're setting them up for failure, because that's just, you know, pressure on top of pressure on top of dealing with family and friends and locals and everything else. Cyril Gahn comes in, they're booing him. The guy had nothing to lose, zero pressure.
But it also seems like with Derek Lewis, if he wasn't as funny as he was, and he wasn't as charismatic, and he didn't say things,
he seemed stressed out, man, like really stressed to me. So.
But it seems like that's what also makes everyone love him.
He choked.
When he's like, hey, we're going to go deep. Ronda Rousey, wear your fine ass out. I mean, if he didn't have all that funny shit going on, I think people, like, they want to like him. You know, if he was just a guy with no personality who fought the way he did, I don't think everyone would kind of be, like, as excited about him. Now, Gahn right now is the favorite against Ngannou. I think that's crazy.
Who?
Cyril Gahn is against Ngannou.
Oh, right, yes. I thought you said Don.
No,
so did I was like, yeah. Don's the favorite? Fuck yeah, bro. We're
So Cyril Gahn is the favorite against Ngannou. Now, is that accurate? You think, Sean, you think that's accurate? No.
Ngannou should be 3 or 4 to 1 favorite, man. All he has to do is hit him once, And the Cyril Gahn didn't look that great against Lewis. Lewis just looked really bad. It wasn't like he was looking amazing. Like, I don't think he'll get out of the first round. Like, I really don't. Otherworldly power, man, and Gahn can be hit. So,
Don, what do you think? Frye?
Yeah. I didn't hear half what he said, but he's right. You know, Nagano does have great power. And you know, all he's got to do is hit anybody once, and they'll crumble. You know, I mean, he's powerful. It's all get out. And Cyril Gahn, he just I think he's at the B level stage, and he doesn't have what it takes to get to the A level.
Greg, what do you think? Who do you think went to Gahn?
I mean, he's already on the A level. I mean, he's the interim champion. And I think what we're seeing here is a guy, I mean, what we've always seen with heavyweights is very little technique and a lot of power. I mean, they tend to be just big dudes with a lot of power and very short fights. And I think he's, you know, it's been a long time since we've seen a guy of his size to have that much actual technique. But if there's anyone that also combines the two, it's Ngannou. And probably has more power and definitely has more experience. I'm with you guys. I think it's Ngannou by a lot.
I mean, he also kind of got let.
No, Nagano doesn't have the experience. So I have to argue. I have to disagree with you. Ngannou doesn't have the experience. He's only been doing this shit for 3 or 4 years now, you know. And I think Gahn's been doing the kickboxing for that long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But MMA, he's only been in there, what, 1 year, 2 years? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so's Ngannou. I mean, Ngannou, right now, the heavyweight division is at a really low level of talent, you know.
Yeah, that's true, too.
I mean, how do you think these guys would have done again?
That's why I want to get in there and challenge, you know, the champion and make my comeback.
Fuck yeah, you do. And we want to see it too, man.
Now, Don, how do you think Ngannou or Cyril Gahn would have done against a prime Mark Coleman?
Oh, they got killed. Mark Coleman in his prime was an animal, just a vicious beastly animal, you know, and he would just hurt people just by natural strength. He didn't intend to, but he just had ungodly strength, and he would get after you. You know, good thing he had a good mindset, and he's just a nice guy. You know, because if he wanted to go in there and destroy you, he'd have broken bones on everybody he fought.
It's crazy that like boxing and MMA, like heavyweights were better back in the day. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like the Joe Frazier's, Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, you know, versus today's crop. And even with MMA, it seems like you got like the Don Fryes and the Mark Colemans and the prime Fedors probably would have fucking destroyed these guys. But
I think it's the best athletes are playing football, man. The best big athletes, you know.
Yeah, when you get to that size, that's exactly right. There's better money to be made other places, and I think that's what becomes of bigger dudes.
But Sean, you don't think
that's why boxing doesn't have them either.
But Sean, you don't think there was better money in football back then too?
Not than boxing. Boxing's always been the highest paid thing. There's better money in field hockey than there is the UFC. You know, I mean, pretty much any sport at this point. If like fighting in the UFC is the least money I've ever made doing anything in my life, including a puppy mill. No, but no, like I mean, anything I've done, I cleared a total. I want to say in the UFC, total sponsorships, everything in 3 fights after I paid my age and after I paid my taxes, probably $30,000 like total. So
and you were a co-main event.
Yeah, I got $10,000 to be the co-main event at UFC 124, which did almost 900,000 pay-per-view buys. And they gave me a $10,000 bonus because of how well I promoted the fight. And I got $17,000 in sponsors, which would be $3,500 now or $3,000 with their new deal. It wouldn't be very much, if anything. And yeah, I was only owed $10,000. That's why I like Dana a lot, man. Like Dana's helped me out and always been real nice to me. But when he's like, we've never paid anybody $50,000 on a million pay-per-view buy thing. I'm like, you know, main event or co-main event. And I'm like, yeah, you paid me 10. You didn't pay me 50, but it was 10, you know? So, and that was in 2010 or 11. So that it isn't like it was, you know, 30 years ago or when they first started. So
Don, you got $100,000 when the open, right, Don?
150 back Yeah.
All right, wow. You also had the four. You have to fight four
The
times.
ultimate.
But you fought 4 times in one night.
No, only 3.
3. That's still fucking crazy.
Don won more in one night 20 years ago than I won the entire, that I made all 27 fights. So
that's crazy. I mean, yeah, but you also fought.
I fought 3 times in one night, but it was all with the same girl.
Who did you fight? Don, who did you fight in the finals? Don, who did you fight in the finals?
Tank Abbott.
Tank fucking Abbott. That's crazy.
In the finals.
Don Frye, Tank Abbott. Could there be 2 manlier men in an octagon in history? I mean, come on. Like,
hey, you're starting to hyperventilate, and if Buffer hears this, he'll be hyperventilating too.
So,
see, again, why couldn't you do these Buffer jokes last week? Do the shot jokes.
So on the co-main event, Aldo looked great.
Yeah.
Now, according to Pat Miletich, I'm not saying anything. I'm not accusing anyone, but he's saying that during COVID, he thinks USADA isn't testing people. Could that possibly be true, Sean?
sounds right to me. It's weird, the UFC, man. I know guys that were getting checked literally 6 times a week and guys who haven't been checked even once yet that are in the UFC. So it's like, I don't know what their random system is, but I don't want to say their name, but I know 2 different guys that say they have not been tested one time if they weren't fighting like randomly and whatever. That's how long they've been doing it, 3-4 years, but they haven't been tested even one time. So
I mean, but Aldo looked amazing. Like this was,
yeah.
Tom, why am I seeing your crotch right now?
I was gonna say, and there's Don Frye's dick and balls, ladies and gentlemen.
What is that? Don
You're
joining the podcast?
Buffer, so
You got to meet the whole committee.
Don, are you wearing Don? Are you wearing Daisy Dukes? Like, what are you doing? What is that?
Oh, they're short. I gotta get my knee changed. My wrapping on my knee changed. I had that infection. So remember last week I had
you had to go to the doctor. Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I'm happy that
my buddy's changing my.
Well, we saw all 8 inches of Don Frye, and during
it was. I gotta say, it was impressive.
only 7, sir. Only 7.
Dude, that's back to the fight, which we were discussing before Don's stepkids decided it. Right? But I'm walking into this. I'm thinking they set this up as like Jose is supposed to be the stepping stone for Pedro. This should be the thing that puts Pedro into that big time contention. Then I'm watching Jose walk out. I'm like, oh, they fucked up. This guy thinks this is the first step back to the championship. That's exactly what happened.
He looked amazing.
He looked amazing. And he beat the shit out of this guy.
You know what? I think maybe for USADA getting away, this is how these guys are going to look. Like, what the hell? I mean, talk about turning back the clock. I mean,
you know what's most surprising on the whole thing is he used to struggle badly to make 145, like really, really struggle. And now, like, he's making 135 easy. I'm like, you don't usually do better with age with that. And I'm pretty sure he was 47 when he fought Conor McGregor. So I don't know how old he is now, but he was old then. So
no, it absolutely looked like they photoshopped his face on somebody else's body.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Aldo looked amazing. Who knew I felt bad for? You know who my heart
wasn't your.
What did he say?
It said it wasn't his.
I felt bad for. You know who I felt bad for was Michael Chiesa. Because he was doing so well. He was kicking ass. He almost had Luque out. And then he just got reversed and choked. What do you think Don Frye Chiesa could have done differently?
Keep his neck out of the way.
But once that guy
screwed up, I mean.
But like once he got had that lock, how hard is that to like defend that Darce, a guy or like that's his move?
Well, if that's his move, then you're screwed. It's over. I mean, when somebody labels something like that their move, they're like the Russians. We used to practice something 10,000 times. They would practice it 100,000, 200,000 times. And that's what you do something when you have a specific move.
Yeah. McCorkle, what do you think he could have done differently?
I've never been Darce choke like that, man. I don't get triangle choked either. I'm too wide from my neck to my, like under my lat or whatever for anybody to get their arms safely around me, or not safely, but I mean tightly around me, so I can't really relate to it. I used to let people put me in a triangle just to pass their guard because I knew they wouldn't be able to finish because I was just too broad, unless it was Stephen Struve or somebody. But, I was surprised. Chiesa's supposed to be great at jiu-jitsu. Like, it always surprised me when I see – I mean, obviously he knew what he was in. A lot of guys, I think, make a mistake, man. When you know something's locked in, every second you wait, you're further locked in. It's like quicksand. So, like, you have to explode immediately when you know he's got it, because that's your only chance to get out. But I see these guys grab one arm and try to fight to both hands and this and that. I'm like, dude, you should have scrambled the second he put it in, because that's your only chance to get out. Give him 30 seconds to put it in. It's going to get tighter and tighter. So,
man, that was hard. He said he was embarrassed by it. I'm like, I wouldn't be embarrassed. He was doing so well before that.
I thought Luque was going to win, but for the first, 3 minutes of that fight, I thought he was going to lose because Chiesa was all over him. I'm like, and then he had him. He had the choke, but they were, but they were pretty dry still, and he was able to get out of it and reverse it. But I mean, up until then, I was like, oh shit, I think he might lose this fucking fight.
That was crazy. Tisha Torres.
Ooh, she looked good.
I saw her a couple weeks ago. She's just on a different. Sometimes people just hit the zone. I think with Tisha, she just found, like, even with comics, you see comics like Dave Attell, I heard would bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb. And one day something just clicked. And then he was like the funniest comic in New York. And that Tisha Torres, I'm not saying she would bomb and bomb, but something recently has clicked in her where she just doesn't give a fuck anymore and is letting her hands go.
She looked great.
Yeah.
She looked great in those red shorts. Holy shit.
Some people say the same thing happened to Brendan Schaub.
Yeah, of course. What were you saying, Sean?
Some people would say the same thing happened with Brendan Schaub, like he bombed and bombed and bombed and bombed, and then something clicked, and he continued to bomb. So it been known to happen.
Don, Tisha's a lesbian. She's dating Raquel Pennington, or she's bisexual. She's like men before, but now she's in a serious relationship. Have you ever had to try to, get someone who's a lesbian to like you? Do you think that you could still, get a girl who's a lesbian or no?
No, but I have changed solid nymphomaniacs into sworn lesbians.
Me too, Don.
Now, Hector Jr.
I'm the guy they wake up with and they're like, okay, I've got a coke problem. I gotta go.
Dude, my daughter is in this phase now where she's like, Daddy, do you like boys and girls? I'm like, well, I like everybody. She's like, I like girls. I don't like boys, because she's like, boys are out of control. But like, I know what she means, and I want to be like, well, as a man, I like boys. I don't want to confuse her. So I'm like, well, I like everybody, and now she probably thinks I'm bisexual or so. I how do this is one of those.
That's why you drive that ice cream truck around the neighborhood, right?
Yeah, of course. She keeps asking to do this play date with this one boy. She's like, can Matthew come over for a play date? Can Matthew come over? So today I talked to her at school, and I'm like, hey, which one's Matthew, to the teacher? Because I wanted to check him out, make sure he was all right. Make sure
he was the janitor.
It was the janitor?
Oh, Matthew, the janitor. Yeah, it's Mateo, but Matthew, sure.
Oh, God.
He was the janitor, and then Bruce Buffer was like, Adam, wait your turn. He's coming over for a play date with me.
It was the janitor. There was a comic, I'm not going to say his name, but has recently been accused of being with underage women. I guess accused. So yesterday I did a show, and someone was like, hey, do you want to bring your daughter over for my kid's birthday party? We're having it at this person's house. And I was like, no, I think I've heard of that. I want to keep her away from that guy.
Jeez.
It was funny. All right, so what are we talking about?
Song Yadong
against Casey Kenny. Casey Kenny's, he's tough as shit. He's losing the close ones. He lost to Dominic Cruz. He lost to Song Yadong. He's got to figure out how to get over that hump. Greg, what are you saying?
Dude, I just think it's weird that he, was so convinced that he won when he convincingly lost. Oh, my God. Don't show that, Don. Jesus
Don, that's your leg?
Christ. Oh, my God.
Don, what? That's your leg, Don?
Oh, fuck.
I don't see anything. Thank God.
Oh, my God.
Leg?
Don, what are you?
That's an infection? Your leg is a huge ball.
Yeah, it was.
Bro,
It was. It looks better now.
Oh, my God. Okay, so we're going to have to age restrict.
That looks like Angela Magana. Nude hack, leak news. Listen, Don, did you get shot with a fucking bowling ball? Like, what would happen?
And he's laughing through this. He's laughing. I'd be starting a GoFundMe. I would be like,
I'm waiting for John Dodson to pop out of that thing. That thing was huge, bro.
Yeah.
Is there a shortage on stitches in Arizona? What's going on there? Like,
Oh my God! God!
You are the toughest motherfucker on the planet. God damn it, Don Frye.
That happened today during the podcast? Like
that's happening right now. It's happening this second. They're doing it right now.
Don, why is there
right now?
Don, you gotta take care of that, man.
I did. They cut on it. They already operated on it. They had to cut it open and scrape the kneecap and scrape behind the kneecap. And now my buddy, Tony gets the lucky job of cleaning it out for me every day and rewrapping it.
Is Tony your dog? Yeah. Fuck, man.
No, Tony's the camera guy. Say hi, Tony.
Yeah, I'm a lucky guy.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
He's a camera guy for my podcast.
That looks like Team Alpha Male could have a fucking pool party in it. That thing is fucking huge. That thing is.
Oh, God.
Oh my God!
God!
Oh.
You know what? I gotta tell you though, this is probably going to be our most watched video version of this show.
Dude,
because when people hear the audio of this, they're going to be like, I got to see this. And I'm warning you now to everyone listening. You be prepared when you're going to see.
How is that not getting done? How is that not getting infected right now? Like,
oh my God.
Jesus.
Well, because he's got gloves on, and we're not letting the dog lick it anymore. You know?
Don, how did that happen?
Doctor, what?
How is that not closed?
How did that happen?
How is that an open window? Oh, I guess you got to clean it out inside.
Yeah, it's healing from the inside.
Yeah.
Don, how did that happen, man?
Karate man, heal from the inside.
I know how it happened.
I don't know. I had a knot on it underneath, below the knee, and then it got real big, and then it popped, and then I guess it got dirt in it, So then it moved up to the kneecap, and then it got real bad. I called my doctor, Gary, one day, because Gary used to wrestle too, and he's a senior when I was a freshman up there at ASU, and he wrestled for Canada in the Olympics. Anyways, I called Gary. I said, hey, I got an infection in my knee. I need to come in and see you. He said, all right, come on in. And he said, shit. He called up a doctor, a surgeon, and I went over, saw him. He wanted to do it that day. I said, you're fucking crazy. I got a dog and a horse to take care of. I said, I can do it tomorrow. He said, all right, we'll get it done tomorrow. Go home, take care of your animals.
Oh, my God. Now,
I don't think Don's being honest with us. I feel like that's actually his wrist, and he just watched Brendan Schaub's comedy special.
Oh, there it is. There's two.
No, Hector Lombard Jr. Have you ever had a cut like that?
I never had a cut. Not like this. They're trying to make the cut on me. I make the cut on them. And then when they go for me, that's when I say, you're the follower with the cut. I am not the sheep. You're the sheep. I want to be the elite with the no cut.
Okay, now who do you think caused the cut, Hector?
The worst. Obviously, the Jews, they cut the cut. That's what they're doing. They're the ones that do it. They manipulate the media to make the cut even bigger. That's what they do.
Wow.
I have a feeling Greg Frye would blame the same group. I'm not positive.
Hey, if I got an injury like that, I just put a little bacon in it and sew it up for a few weeks, and then you have a nice cured ham.
People always ask me, they're like, what's Don Frye like? I'm like, he's the nicest, greatest guy ever. Sometimes he'll talk about the fights. He'll be like, yeah, that guy was sneaky, like the Chinese.
Oh, God.
And then
he's stuffing it like a turkey.
And then McCorkle goes, I don't know what the Chinese have to do with this. Dude, the look on McCorkle's face, McCorkle's like 6'6", like 300 pounds, and he's looking at Don Frye like a little child. Like McCorkle has become a little child, like a 5-year-old looks at like his dad, like, man, my dad's the toughest guy ever.
Don is the toughest motherfucker on the planet. He's laughing all the way through this open wound.
Son, are you on painkillers right now or anything? Or
no more than usual. Standard amount.
All right, fuck. You know who's also a really tough guy is Bobby Green. Bobby Green is a guy, I feel like one of those fighters.
Smooth transition.
He just runs out of rounds, Bobby Green. Like, he'll win every fight if there was no rounds. Like, if there was like 100 rounds, he's just a tough dude. But I feel like his taunting gets in the way because it seems like he loses the close one because the judges are getting pissed off because he's cursing and taunting and talking shit. That they don't like him because he always loses the close ones. And I feel like his taunting is hurting his actual – because like somebody gave the other guy round 3, which was like, how did that happen? That was nuts. Did you watch the Olympics? Anyone watch the Olympics?
Yes.
Hey, wait, before you go to the Olympics, can we talk about how good Ed Herman looked the other night?
You mean as far as like toughness or Ed Herman is tough as shit, but man, that guy could take a punch.
He might be like 42. He didn't look a day under 70. I'll tell you what. My girlfriend was actually laughing.
Talk about a fighter.
My girlfriend kept laughing, saying, "Why is he walking like that?" And I was like, "No, I think he got kicked in the leg." She goes, "No, before he even got kicked, he's like walking like a robot." It was that was something to watch, man. I didn't know you could be that bad at fighting and being like in the UFC unless your name was CM Punk or Brendan Schaub. But yeah, like it was that. I don't know if he just hasn't trained the past 2 decades. Like I don't know what's going on, but he looked terrible, like absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I think they're wanting to get Alonzo Menifield back on track. I mean, what does he have? 2 losses coming into this, and a ton of potential. I think they were trying to get him back on the winning side of the track there.
No, he won his last one. Alonzo did. Did he?
Okay.
Before that, he lost 2 up in a row.
Right.
So this guy Gable Stevenson, who won the Olympics, gold medalist, he the first 2 wrestling matches didn't get a point scored on him. Last one he won with 1 second left. The guy can do crazy backflips, crazy agility. He seems like he's got everything. He's talking about how he wanted to go into WWE, but last night he tweeted out, "Hey, Dana White." So I don't know. I mean, obviously I would love to see how good he is. His wrestling is second to none.
He's smart. He's going to get him bidding right now. I mean, without even getting in the ring, he's going to have WWE and UFC bidding on him.
But
that is smart.
Don't you think he needs a couple amateur fights and a couple like lower level fights because he's gonna have a target on his back?
Yeah,
because
he's gonna have to get some easy fights, and it'll be up to Dana, to get those for him. I mean, if he signs with the UFC, then Dana should bring him up just like they brought Mike Tyson up. You give him, tomato cans for the first 7, 8, 10 fights, and then you move them up, to a little bit better, but not much. And then that's how you move them up slowly, and you get the reputation of them being killers.
Yeah, but
everybody's scared before they even get in the ring.
But those pure wrestlers, man, they need like 2 years of training the other skill sets before they're ready.
Yeah, but the issue, Don, is like them bringing in tomato cans for him to fight. It's just like they tried doing that with CM Punk, and the problem was he couldn't beat those guys. Obviously, Gable Stevenson would beat those guys, but just bringing in guys like that, it's almost like the UFC should have some kind of a contract where they'll sign you, but they'll put you in the LFA. So you're signed with the UFC eventually, but you get to fight in those smaller tier organizations. That's almost what they almost should do. Have like almost like a farm system, like in the major leagues. Like you're signed to the Mets, but you got to play Division, 1.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Play the farm leagues
AAA,
first.
whatever. Because that's the issue. Is like who are they going to bring into the UFC? That's just going to be a can. You can't bring a guy that's like 2-2 in the UFC. You can, but you're going to then see people are going to be like, well, why am I paying $60 to watch a 2-2 guy? So, like,
what weight is this guy?
Heavyweight.
Heavyweight? Well,
Yeah.
I think there's a guy on the other couch sitting there who's a heavyweight. He'd be happy to make $50,000 to do a job.
Enough about Greg.
How did I know you were going to make it about me? I knew it. God damn it, Sean.
So this week in Bellator, Mousasi is fighting John Salter. Should be a good fight. I'm picking John Salter. I mean, he's a guy that he's won his last like 9 out of 10 fights. His only loss was to a guy who they were calling the best jiu-jitsu guy in the world, but the guy had like kind of a brain aneurysm. I'm picking John Salter for the upset. You, McCorkle?
I'm going with Mousasi because I've never even heard of the other guy.
Greg?
So I've got to go with what I know.
Same with you, Greg?
Sure. Where are we at? What are we talking about?
Bellator. Bellator.
Oh, Bellator. Yeah, one guy's going to beat the other guy.
And nobody's going to
That's what I got for Bellator.
One guy is going to beat the other guy. Wow.
Hold on. I got to look it up now. Let me find it.
Mousasi versus John Salter.
Yeah. I got to go with Sean's assessment. I've heard of Mousasi. I don't know Salter, so I don't really know.
Salter lost to
this is a championship fight?
Yeah, he lost to Javier Lovato, but that was a long time ago. And then before that, he hadn't lost since 2010. So Sean Salter's.
For those wondering, that is this week. Where? I mean, I'm trying to odd Showtime. Okay.
And then Rufian Stotts, who's a great fighter, we had him on the show, is fighting Magomedov, who's 18-1. Rufian's 15-1. That should be a good fight. I like that fight.
That should be a very good fight.
And then in the PFL.
On the deck. Should be.
What's
It's
going on?
wet now, though.
All right, I'm going to have to mute that. All right, so in the PFL this week, all right, then he's on
PFL, got it?
PFL also on the 13th on Friday. Ray Cooper III, Hawaiian dude who won $1 million last year. He beat David Machado in the finals. Seems to knock everyone out, this guy. Is fighting Rory McDonald in the playoffs. That should be a good fight. Rory McDonald is a fucking serial killer. He's ripped now. He's got a whole new camp.
But didn't he come into PFL and like lose his first 2 fights?
No, he won his first fight. He lost his second against Gleason Tebow, but he really won that fight. I don't know what they were thinking, the judges. And then also on this card, Clay Collard. He's the guy that beat Anthony Pettis. He's on the card. Tebow's fighting Curtis Millender. Used to be in the UFC. Yeah. There's some good fights in both the PFL. PFL just has a weird, they have all these like 3 weeks in a row. They take like 3 months off. And they're like, playoff starts again. They got to find some kind of more consistency, right? It seems like
I think they almost have to do that to give their fighters a chance to heal, because they're fighting this tournament style, which means they're locked into the guys that they've got. I think they just got to give them time, I don't think they really have a choice. I mean, they could force it to be a lot faster, but you'd end up with guys, having people forfeit fights left and right because of the injuries.
Right.
Isn't it crazy that the PFLs create more millionaires a year than the UFC is? Like, that's the craziest thing ever.
I don't know.
That's true.
It's crazy. Yeah. But they also have like 9 guys in their roster. But you're right. It is crazy. Also, Randy Couture hopes the PFL brings back 2 fights in one night for 2020. Yeah, Randy's an old school guy. Randy back in the day was a monster, just like Don Frye. What else is going on? Oh, Faraz Zahabi, who's the infamous trainer for GSP, he said today he thinks that Jake Paul will be on steroids when he fights Tyron Woodley. Does anybody
why should this fight be different from any of the other fights?
For the fight.
Wait, what was that, Sean? What were you saying?
I said, I think he means he won't go off steroids for the fight.
I love that we were making the same joke 2 different ways.
Nice.
Do you think steroids help more in boxing or in MMA?
Me?
Yeah.
MMA for sure. Yeah, boxing so much reflex speed, which if you took the right cocktail would help a little bit. But in MMA, I mean, it depends on what you mean by steroids too. You're talking performance enhancers. If you get a guy on HGH, EPO, and get his testosterone up 1,400, he'll be maybe some Winstrol for explosion and Anavar for fat burning. He'll be pretty much like I was the entire time I was in the UFC, except for the EPO. So.
Can you make that list available for our listeners? And if anyone happens to make a little trip down Mexico way, they can.
I know the right people, but.
Chad Mendez is signed with the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. So Chad Mendez is now doing bare knuckle boxing. I think he'll be fine. I mean, he seems to hit pretty hard. He's more of a wrestler, but fuck it, right? Tim Johnson, who we had on the podcast before, is fighting Fedor in Russia.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Fedor is 108 years old. Is that right?
Right.
Maybe it's 107. It might be 107. But it's somewhere right in there. And this should be illegal even in Russia.
Yes. Don, we can hear you when you talk, by the way.
Dude, he is up and moving around on that thing right now. What a man. Jesus Christ.
I've never seen a hole that big. Oh, my God.
I was going to say, Don, next time there's Don, next time there's a big UFC. Next time there's a big UFC in Phoenix and you're invited, I want you to sneak me in your wound.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Jesus.
I'll load in there like a goddamn tauntaun in fucking Empire.
I like how now Don's paying the guy $3 for that. Like I see $3 bills. $3.
Yeah.
I love it that Don has a professional cameraman helping him with his knee and not his camera work on this podcast. He has a professional cameraman. He's like, hey, you got to film? No, he's taking care of my knee.
I think the echo is Don talking and it going into that wound. You could hear the
for sure. Bats flying out.
Like, oh my God. Like John Jones just popped out from under there. He was hiding under the octagon. So, all right. Now, Kevin Holland.
A couple kilos.
Yes, a couple kilos. Kevin Holland has been training wrestling with Johnny Hendricks and John Jones. So, and Daniel Cormier. So, Kevin Holland says he's going to be – I haven't heard Hendricks' name in a while, but I guess they're training Kevin Holland. Do you think that'll make a big difference?
If he's training with who'd you say?
Johnny Hendricks and Cormier.
Oh, yeah, Johnny Hendricks and Cormier. I can expect him to probably move up 3 weight classes because he's probably eating with them as well. If he's training with them. So, yeah, let's look to see him at heavyweight sometime in the fall.
Exactly. You gotta be careful of any training session that starts with a bucket of chicken.
So, right. Juliana Pena thinks that, because she was supposed to fight Nunez for the title. Nunez got COVID. She thinks that if she keeps pulling out, she should get the interim championship or at least fight for it.
Yeah, definitely. They did it to the, heavyweight champion. Shit for my cup, right away. Why aren't they doing it, for the girls?
Yep. Mike Winklejohn, who's John Jones' trainer, says that John Jones is not interested in fighting Steve Miocic. He wants the biggest challenge out there. It's probably a random drug test. I mean, do we think – I mean, Stipe is a huge challenge, though. I mean, if he beats Stipe, the hype behind John Jones would be huge for Ngannou. And I think that's a tough fight for John Jones. I think everyone wants to see that fight. Sean?
I don't think John Jones wants it. I think if he was going to fight for it, he wants to fight for the title, because if he fights Stipe and loses, then that fight's gone. If he fights Stipe and wins, there's no real difference, or whatever, because people probably assume he would anyway. But, yeah, I think he knows he can out-wrestle Ngannou and probably take him down. I don't think he would out-wrestle Stipe, and I don't know they would outstrike him. So it's not a smart fight if I'm John Jones, but neither is drunk driving. So you think Stipe is a harder fight for him than Ngannou?
I mean, it's more diverse for sure. I think he believes he can take Ngannou down. Whether he can or not, I don't know. But I think he thinks he can take him down and beat the brakes off of him doing that. I don't think he would stand and trade with him. But you never know. I mean, you'd be crazy too. Anybody would be crazy. I would love to see Ngannou box. I would just like to see him box somebody, see if he could hit that hard with boxing gloves, man. Like it, because when you only have to land one, and it only needs to be from 6 inches away from their face, like, you know what I mean? Like it's unbelievable how hard he hits. It's, I don't know, unreal, man.
Don, Frye, do you think that who do you think's a harder fight for John Jones, Ngannou or Stipe?
Oh, Ngannou, definitely. Like the white boy on the couch just said, the guy's that powerful punching, and all you gotta do is hit. Moving up in weight's a completely different animal when you change weight classes, and you're used to fighting people at a certain weight. It's just it's completely different, and it'll fuck with their mind for one thing.
Got it.
Especially when you talk about the heavyweight division, which has like a 40-pound fucking difference, or what do you go up 60 pounds from light heavyweight? Isn't light heavyweight like 205 and then you get up to 265? I mean, that's huge.
Right,
I mean, that's fucking huge. I think he doesn't even have a choice. I don't care who he was. He hasn't fought in fucking forever. He's lucky they let him fight Stipe to at least show that he still can fight and they fight up that level before they send it. You don't get to fight for the heavyweight championship. When you're a different weight class and you haven't fought in 4 years, 3 years, it's been fucking forever.
Got it. Yeah, you're right. So what do we got coming up, Greg?
This weekend I'm actually going to be, oh my God, I got to go. I'm supposed to go to Miami this weekend.
Party?
No, well, yeah, it's a corporate gig that I'm doing, but I mean, it's like, oh God. It's fucking November of last year down in Florida, so I'll be wearing a wetsuit and a full underwater oxygen gear, everything else to fucking try and survive this shit.
But you're vaccinated.
I am vaccinated, but it's clear you could still get sick, and I just don't even want to get it.
Got it. And then Don Frye, what do you got coming? Don Frye, you're not vaccinated, right?
No.
Okay.
Nothing's brave enough to try and attack me, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
The good news of Don is there's no open wounds on his body where an infection could get in. So
Don doesn't realize it, but they fully vaccinated him when they cut his knee open. They just poured a whole vial of it right in the wind. There you go.
I've never seen a holdout. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. Half your knee is like a fucking. I mean, how long will that take to heal, Don?
I don't know. It's healed already halfway, 50% in the last week. It was big. It was really big. So
that's half.
It's done a good job of healing.
Oh God! Woo!
Yeah.
We're gonna name it the San Andreas because that's a goddamn fault line you got coming. Woo!
Don, does your girlfriend help you out with that or no?
No.
Do people take donkey rides to the bottom, or do they? Are there helicopter tours?
Women tend not to listen.
Women can't listen.
Women tend not to listen, and this is something that really needs to pay attention to and listen to the doctor about. Not want to do your own thing.
No, of course. I'm sure your doctor loves Tony. The guy the guy that you just paid $4 to.
Yeah, my camera guy. Yeah.
This Saturday night, I will be in Apple Valley with Tommy Davidson.
I'm pretty sure Don just called Sean a racist. Pretty sure.
So,
That was Don's idea.
Apple Valley.
I'll be in Apple Valley. Yes, in
You're going to be visiting Don's knee?
Yes, 100%. And then where else? I'll be off the
Bring a
hook.
life raft.
Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, Florida, August 19th to the 22nd. And then I'll be at the Comic Strip in Vancouver, Canada, September 2nd to the 4th. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. Take care.
All right, see you, buddy.